Okay, so today's weekly wrap up is in a different location because my ring light's not working, so we're making do. This is the best lighting in the apartment at this time of evening. But it's okay, because today has largely been a very good day, so I'm not letting this bring me down. And let's talk about the things I'm reading, what I plan to read, etc. So I realized I didn't talk about this at all in last week's update or in my wrap up, but I am still reading Lonesome Dove. I think I only have 5 hours left, which I think at the speed I'm reading is more like 2 hours left. So I'm going to finish it really soon. I wonder if I would like it more physically read or not. There are some things that I don't think I would have done justice. Like, I don't know if I would have given Augustus this voice that's in the audiobook, because Augustus is one of my favorite characters. But at the same time, because it's an audiobook and I don't prioritize time for audiobooks, it's taken me over a month. Yes, it's 35 hours, but that's still a very long time for me to be consuming an audiobook. And I've never gotten to the point in the story for me where it's like, oh, I need to keep going. Because I do have the physical book on hand. If it ever got to that point, I could just pick it up. And I do think it's a writing style I wouldn't mind physically reading, but I don't know, I just don't think I like that many of the characters. And I'm really annoyed because if you've read the book, one of my favorite characters, I don't like a thing that happened with one of my favorite characters. And I won't say what my favorite character is or anything, but man. Like, there are some things that happen to some people where I'm like, oh, that's fine. I don't like them anyways. But I liked this person. So it's just frustrating. And there is like an arc that I kind of really liked where it went, and to the point where I'm like, this could be the ending. Could we end here? And no, there's 7 more hours of the audiobook. So yeah, I think it's overstaying its welcome for me as a historical fiction. Just, I don't love that genre that much. And this is an 800-page historical fiction. And I've never been a big Western girl. And although I don't think this is like your traditional Wild West adventure story, I think it actually really talks about the brutality and like just the lethargic pace of it all, like how it's just never ending, and it's not all about the glory or anything fancy. It's mostly just day in and day out traveling and dust and a whole bunch of like unglamorous things. So yeah, it's not a bad read. I can see why a lot of people would really love it. I just think for me, it's never captured my imagination in any real way. So it's just been like a good read, but nothing insane. But man, does it do some weird things. And let's see, I am also reading A Desolation Called Peace. So this is the sequel to A Memory Called Empire, which I love, and this one's really good. So this one seems to be a little bit more plot forward, I would say. The last book is a political intrigue, murder mystery plot, so a lot of that book, you're just kind of like, what's happening? Where are we going? And I feel like this one at the front is very like, here is our antagonistic thingamajigger, let's go. And so I think that might make it a little more palatable for some people. Also, I felt like the last book's very political intrigue, and this one has felt a little bit more like military sci-fi space opera. So although it still has that very dense vocabulary, lyrical writing style, emphasis on like allusions and metaphor, and it's very witty in that way, it still has that. I do think it's like more focused on plot, and you get more character point of views. In the first book, you only got Mahet, and this one you get more, and I really like a lot of the point of views we're looking into. I really like following Mahet in her situation. Oh, there's just a lot of things, and it uses a lot of my favorite fantasy and sci-fi tropes in some of the things that they're doing with the military sci-fi and with some of the character POVs. So I'm having a really fun time, and I'm also finding that the pacing is better for me right now. But I would say that I'm only 100 or so pages in, and I would think I thought that about A Memory Called Empire. So if it's going to have a lull, it might be later on, because I think they're both about the same page length. But I'm having a great time. I'm buddy reading it with Judith, and we're just like musing about so many things, because it's just such a thematically rich work. So really like parsing out things and how this is doing a twist on a classic sci-fi thing, and it's great. So I think if you liked A Memory Called Empire, you might like this like I am right now. And I think if you were not having a great time with A Memory Called Empire, this could potentially, I'm saying potentially because I have not finished this book, really like add in things that would help you forgive it for its failings in its other sections, if that makes sense. Like if you weren't connecting with Mahet and she was the main point of view in the last story, you got a lot of other point of views. It's not as politically focused. Well, it still has politics, but it's more like military campaign focused. And I just really like it. And I think it's just a little bit more plot paced. I think the last one was, I don't even know how to describe what A Memory Called Empire was, because it wasn't slow paced, but it was very introspective and dense at times, if that makes sense. So I'm reading that, I'm really liking it, and then I'm still reading A Court of Wings and Ruin, and this, like Lonesome Dove, is just taking me forever, but this one's just because, like, I only read it when I'm really tired and I want to be reading, but, like, my brain cannot compute a desolation called peace. So I'm in the end game, though. I'll for sure finish it before the A Court of Silver Flames comes out. And what else do I've got? Well, so reading plans for the weekend. So I'm hoping to get Desolation Called Peace done. That would be a good goal. But then what to read next? So I was thinking about my TBR and maybe the type of story I'd like to read. So I have some sci-fi that I'm reading right now, right? So what do I want to pick up next? Well, if I finish Lonesome Dove, I definitely want to start the audiobook for Fires of Heaven, because that's how I want to read the next Wheel of Time book. And I was thinking switching to fantasy for my next read. So potentially Storm of Locusts by Rebecca Roanhorse, the sequel to Trail of Lightning. But I also have some novellas on the docket that are kind of like fantasy steampunk by P. Djeli Clark. So I might just read the Cairo novellas this weekend too. I haven't decided yet, so if you guys have opinions, feel free to put them down in the comments. And yeah, also I hope you have enjoyed the little cat. And if you missed Monday's video, there is now a public Discord that you should check out. I will have a link to it in the description down below, and a link to the newly started book club Patreon. And yeah, I think that's all I'll say about that. Just like a reminder that it exists. The Discord's been really fun for me. Just a nice little area where we're all just chatting and things like that. And kind of a funny turn of events, Ryan does show up and chat in there, so if you ever wanted more experiences with Ryan, he actually does chat in the Discord, and it's I think pretty fun, but I am incredibly biased. So I feel like those are all my reading updates. I talked about the Patreon. Oh, I'm almost done with the sweater. I should show you guys, 1 second. Okay, so way back when I had a vlog and I showed you guys that I was working on a sweater in that vlog, and it's taken me a while, but this is the Knives Out sweater. So if you haven't seen Knives Out, highly recommend. It's a great movie. But ta-da! Is a sweater. I'm working on the collar right now, so it's almost done. But like, it has sleeves. I still have to tie in ends. But I'm very, very proud of it. And I just bought myself some yarn, so I'm gonna make myself a sweater, because this is for Ryan. Because the Knives Out sweater should be worn by the dude that I like. Look at that. It looks so nice on camera. I've been slaving over this for months, so I'm pretty excited to see it come to an end. Just because I'm a little proud. Oh, that was a crochet hook. So I'm a chaotic mess. Today was stressful but good. I just came home. I think I was at work for like 9 hours, so I'm a little scattered. That's why, but my experiment didn't fail, and it was generally a good day. And that's it. What are you gonna read this weekend? I am super pumped for my TBR. I'm really excited for it. And I hope to see you in the Discord. And if you want to leave an emoji, leave an alien face. That's what I would like to see. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.